Okay, really warm welcome to this podcast. David Marshall here from the Conscious Creation Academy. So, what we're going to talk today is about other lives. We're going to talk about how you can begin to understand them, how you can begin to accept the simultaneous nature of time and therefore the simultaneous nature of other lifetimes, and then 4 steps to help you maybe engage with those. So, before we do that, let's just take a nice deep breath so we kind of relax, get out of the state that we're in, and engage our inner senses so that you can intuitively begin to understand exactly and a little bit more of what I'm saying. So, when we think about the traditional view of other lives, what we think about is we tend to think about life after life after life. And the problem with that is that it's no longer realistic. The more we explore into the nature of reality, the more we realize time is created by the brain, that time, in fact, doesn't exist. All events are simultaneous. And so the more you think about that, you think about, well, all my lives then are happening at the same time. And then the more you begin to experience and understand that, the more you recognize that the soul or the consciousness of which you are a part is in those other lives at the same time. And so there's a portion of you, the inner self, the inner consciousness, the inner soul, whatever you want to call it, that is engaged in multiple lifetimes simultaneously. And that the core of that is you. You are a part of the core of it. That inner self is you. You are that inner self, a version, the human version of that inner self. And so all the information about the lessons in other lives, what they're about, the time periods in which they're set. And remember, we create the experience of our reality within each one. So there's no linear action going on. We can choose to create an environment of 1547, 2518, 1922, 2022. The things, the environment, the experience, our bodies are created as it were a dream, all happening simultaneously. And so the more you think about that, the more you can recognize that maybe your likes and dislikes in this life are somehow kind of impacted by things happening in other lives. Certainly the lessons that you're exploring are also affected and affecting other portions of yourself, the inner self, and other lifetimes. And often you'll dream of them, and often they will dream of you. And so here are 4 ways you can really get into trying to actually experience that. And my experience, the beautiful thing about that is because as you begin to experience yourself as that multidimensional consciousness that's within other lives at the same time as being beyond those lives as well, you begin to get an intuitive sense of who you are, an intuitive sense of your broader nature. And therefore, the lessons that are being learned in other lives are accumulating within that inner self, and you've got access to those. So, personal growth, knowing yourself as a multidimensional being, knowing yourself as a being that's not held within time, not kind of captured like a butterfly in a cage, but literally free of time, where your main personality, the main part of your identity, is in fact outside of time. And so the information you can have is far broader, far deeper, far more interesting, I think, than this one single lifetime. And so let's have a think about how you can access that. So the first one is dream work. When we go to sleep, we turn our consciousness, our awareness away from the physical body, and we begin to engage in realities that are far more fluid, that are far more responsive to our thoughts in terms of the immediacy. So you can focus, choose, and have the intention just before sleep to discover other lives. And tell yourself, of course, that you will remember it. I love there's an exercise where you can have a dream camera. Imagine you're taking a dream video camera or a still picture, and that into that dream, and your intention is to bring back the information. And that information may come back as feelings, or you may get images of other lives that your personality is taking that you are connected with, or you might get just landscapes and a sense of kind of being in a different environment. All those things are totally valid, so keep a little pen and paper by your bedside and begin to write them down. So dream work is brilliant. Using the inner senses is number 2. So take 10 minutes. Remember, you are connected to those other lifetimes through that inner self. So take 10 minutes to sit quietly. Turn your attention towards the inner self with your intention. Just say, I'd like to know about other lifetimes that I have. And the lifetimes that will come up will be generally ones that you are more emotionally connected with, ones that you have an affinity with. And that will change over time. It might be that my age right now, my chronological age is 55. And so I might pick up on other lifetimes of a similar age. Maybe when I was younger, I would pick up on, other lifetimes that were engaged in that at that younger age. So remember, you're going to pick up snippets and snapshots through the inner psychic senses and begin to build up a picture. What you're essentially doing is learning to decipher that information. So 10 minutes a day, just relaxed, put some music on. It's not meditation, it's a psychic exercise, it's a psychic inner exploration. And so just allow yourself to take that journey. Another interesting one I find is to actually go round the house and think about, the pictures that you have and the furniture that you have and kind of things that you have in your home. Often these are indicative of other lifetimes. So it might be that you'll have pictures of Spanish landscapes or another time period, or that you're really into kind of eventing with other people that are also kind of like getting dressed up in different time periods, that type of thing. Who knows? But your daily life, your daily interests, the things that you have in your home are often insights, and they are kind of they're insightful ways for you to understand that if you have a particular picture that you love of another country or a particular down, or a particular time period, just sit there and kind of soft gaze it, just sit with it, just go, okay, what is it about this that I've really enjoyed, and allow those inner senses. You have inner senses like we all do. Allow your inner intuitive psychic senses to begin to form that picture. Don't force it, just allow your imagination to bring those images to you. So the last one is really think about if you have a time period that you are intrigued with. So it's a bit of an extension of the last one. So think about, is there a particular time period that you've seen on the movies or in or on videos or that type of thing that you're really connected with? Now you've got to be careful. Might be something that you grew up with as a child or had an affinity with in that way. So allow yourself just to kind of get beyond that. But think about that kind of time period. I certainly have an affinity with Spain, have an affinity with the 1700s in Spain. And that's something that I'm exploring and also a part of my own multidimensional journey. So that's it. So I hope you find that useful. So dream work is key. Using the inner senses 10 minutes a day. Don't force it. Just know that you can do that. That's key. Wander around the house and explore. Think about, why do I like that picture? Or why do I like this furniture? What is it about that ornament that I really enjoy? And allow that information. Remember, create your own reality. These are all um, conscious structures of consciousness filled, created by you for particular reasons. And the last one is think about a time period or a country that intrigues you. And so that's it. Just give it a go. Jump in. There's nothing else you can do. If you want to have more information, then please subscribe to this podcast, wherever it would be. And in other podcasts, I have talked about the simultaneous nature of time. So you can go and find those out on the podcast as well. So that's it, my friends, my fellow explorers. I hope that is useful for you. It should be fun and it should be interesting. And it is a way that you can really begin to understand yourself. And your journey is to understand yourself as a multidimensional being, not just as a man or a woman or a child or a husband, or a partner. It's about your journey, is about yourself as a multidimensional being. And at a certain point, you'll have to drop the idea that time is sequential. You'll have to drop the idea that time has an effect on you and accept that you are the one that creates time, that, that the vast majority of your personality, of your identity, is actually outside of time. And therefore, you have access to all that information at your fingertips to go and explore. So enjoy, have some fun. Next podcast will be about something slightly different. We've got a whole list of things that I want to talk to you about, and I will speak to you soon. Take care, lots of love, and please subscribe or go to the Conscious Creation Academy.com. You can download my book, The Dream We Call Earth, and 7 audios to really take you deeper into the nature of consciousness, energy, and how we create our own reality and while we are not floating on a planet in space. Have a great day. Take care.